Today we will be looking at the basics of Geometer Sketchpad. As you can see up at the top of the toolbar on my Mac OS computer, Sketchpad has its toolbar. We have File, Create a New Sketch, Open, Sketchpad Lesson Link, Sketchpad Sketch Exchange, and all of your save and printing options. We also have a document option in case you would like to make additional pages. You can add a duplicate page of page 1 or create another blank page. And all you do is press OK. So now we have page 1 and page 2. Going back to page 1, we're going to examine the edit features. Typically, it's your normal edit features of copy, paste, and so on. Undo, redo. Now moving to display, you can change the point style, the line style, the color, the text, hide objects, trace, erase, animate, and with animate you can decrease or increase the speed, but this is something we will not be using in our lesson today. You have construct options to construct a point on an object, a midpoint, an intersection, segment, ray, line, both parallel and perpendicular lines, angle bisectors, circle by point, circle by radius, arc on circle, arc through 3 points, interior, and locus. But the majority of these we will not be using today. We will pretty much stop at the perpendicular line. You can also do transformations in order to translate rotate, which we've worked on before and may be helpful in today's lesson, but also may not be helpful. We will also be utilizing measure to find our lengths, distance, parameter, circumference, and area length, because we're examining perimeter and area today in our lesson. So to start off, to construct a point, you click on the little point button and you put a point wherever you would like to put a point. Now if you want to construct a line through this point, all you have to do is go down to the line and create a line. Now let's say we're making a square. If we're making a square, we're going to want to create perpendicular lines, so they have to have 90-degree angles and they must all be the same length. Isn't that right? So if we're doing that, let's say we want to create a line segment, this particular line segment, and that's the one that we want to create a perpendicular line of. So like we've done with rotations and translations before, we mark our centroid, and then we have our line segment and our point. So now we're going to rotate 90 degrees. And now if you want to label that 90-degree angle, you simply use your label marker and it creates a box. In order to keep this going, we will do another translation. Oh, that's not the point that I wanted. This is the point that I wanted. Can transform, rotate 90 degrees. And we'll continue to do this until we have a square. So now we have a square. We can go back and add our right angles so we can clearly see that this is a square. Oh, and we can also label that all the sides are congruent, because we use the same translation throughout, so they all have the same side. Just as a side note, in order to create a circle, you click on the circle button and you just create a circle from a point out to another point. But I'm going to undo this for right now. Today we will not be using any of the text features or the creating a tool, so we will not need to worry about those. But if you go to the measure section, you find length, distance, parameter, circumference, area. So, you don't want to select that. Select each line that we are reviewing. You're going to measure the lengths. As you can see, all of the lengths are the same. In order to measure the area of a square through using Geometer Sketchpad, we must utilize the polygon that shades in. Through utilizing the polygon that shades in, we're able to account for what is located inside the square. And this also works for perimeter. But if you want to check area and perimeter yourself, there is a calculate function, or a calculate area, where you can calculate it yourself. Well, what is the perimeter of a square? Isn't it the side plus the side plus the side? So we have 3.35 plus 3.35 plus 3.35 plus 3.35 equals 13.40. I would say that our perimeter and our calculated perimeter are fairly accurate. My assumption would be, because this is 0.41, is that 3.35 is only a rounded version of what the actual lengths are. Now moving on to calculating the area. Calculating the area is 4, because of our 4 sides, times our side lengths. Oh, no, I was wrong. Or was I wrong? No, I was right. So I'm not quite